There is a fifth dimension.
A dimension of sound.
Damn it, Frank! We tell him to be quiet. I spilled my hot cup of Uranus again.
A dimension of sight.
Hey, Arch. I'm gonna sock you in the puss.
A dimension of mind.
Nan Adams, is that you?
Next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Sometimes we have snow in May, but it's rare and
By the
random.
time February rolls around, it's summer again.
Well, good for you.
Exactly.
That's
And
something.
sometimes I am the night. Color me black. Gosh. Welcome to the Twilight Zone, a Fifth Dimension podcast. I am here to talk about episodes of Rod Serling's famous podcast. And yeah, there we go. Are we a famous podcast, Jacob?
I mean, maybe.
Oh, we are. We're the most famous podcast about the Twilight Zone, starring three people named Triv, Jake, and Nick.
Exactly.
It's a great tagline.
That should be the name of our next podcast when we get done with this. Is just the greatest podcast featuring Triv, Jake, and Nick.
Doesn't really roll off the tongue, honestly.
I mean, you never know. You never know.
Right.
So, exactly. Oh god, this is gonna be a fun episode to talk about. So we're back to talk another episode of Rod Serling's famous TV series. We're approaching once again. I think we're 10 episodes away from the end of the series. Very, very sad. I'm sad. Triv's sad. Jake's working on Nintendo products, so he's kind of sad, but he's excited because he gets to work on stuff that he enjoys with his job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. How you guys doing? Welcome back.
It's cold
to
here.
the Twilight Zone. It's cold. You're in a movie theater in the front of a screen. How cold are you, Triv?
It's a bad movie theater. It's cold here.
You're the one that decided not to put heat in your theater.
I live it. Anyway, moving on.
First, you don't fix the toilets, and then no heat. What kind of theater are you running, Triv? Gosh.
One that doesn't welcome you.
Exactly. Next to my porn emporium. Jake, how you doing? Welcome back.
I'm good.
That's
I'm
a
good.
weird transaction right there.
Oh, God.
That fits. We'll go with it.
The funny thing, I think I mentioned this before. When I click on that, even though you can only see my mouth for some reason, I widen my eyes real big. I noticed. The whole time I'm doing this, and I'm like,
It's kind of like when
I don't need to do that.
Well, it's kind of like when you feed a little kid, like you open your mouth, like as you're feeding them to kind of make them do the same thing. Yeah, exactly.
Are you saying Jacob's mimicking his eye movements on Jeff?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's cold. I'm tired. Let's go home. Back into the Twilight Zone. Let's not talk about this episode. This very depressing, very somber, very approachable
Black.
episode about hate and anger. And I actually thought this episode was about racism. That shows you how much I remember about this episode, but it kind of has racism in it. It's about the world that we live in, and the people we hang.
I don't think I've ever seen this episode.
No, I haven't. I thought it was about them. As bad as it sounds, I thought this was about them hanging a black individual, but turns out that I'm a racist and didn't realize it.
I made that mistake though too. I think because I had read that the one gent his name was Ivan
Dixon.
Ivan Dixon, yeah. Because he was in Big Tall Wish and it said that he was in this. And
Bully.
just by
Yeah,
the
he plays
name,
Bully.
I assumed that he was gonna be the guy that was gonna be hung. Just by the name of it and everything else. And
Maybe
it turned out
we don't know.
yeah. And yeah,
Well,
boy was
I
I
mean,
wrong.
I wonder if there was a practices and standards and practices situation where they were worried that they were going to come off as ultra racist or something like that, because this is a very progressive show.
I don't think they would have if they were going to do that though, they would have, because there was a lot of stuff back then that kind of covered that kind of stuff, and I don't know.
I mean, when did the Heat of the Night come out, the TV series version? Was that the 70s? Nobody watched the show, I'm guessing.
I did.
67 was the film.
I watched it on repeat, I think, when in the 80s, but I don't think it was new in the 80s.
Yeah.
And the Heat of the Night show was 88.
Oh, maybe it was in the
Wait,
80s.
was it that late?
Apparently.
I thought it was
I
like
guess
the
I watched it when it
70s.
was new.
It was loosely based on the 1965 novel and the 1967 film of the same name.
That's probably what I'm getting it
Right.
mixed up with the movie. I mean, I remember watching the show, but I think I was knowing that the movie came out like in the 60s. I was thinking the show came out maybe the 70s or something.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that would have been 3 years. The book would have come out a year after the Twilight Zone, and the movie would have come out 3 years.
Right. But really, this is just about how hateful we are as a humanity, which I guess. So that episode we're gonna be talking about is season 5, episode 26. I Am the Night, Color Me Black, directed by Abner Biberman, written by Rod Serling, stars Michael Constantine of My Big Fat Greek Wedding fame. Paul Fix, George Lindsey, Ivan Dixon, Terry Becker. I get what they're doing in this episode. I agree with certain websites that this episode is very preachy. I think it's a little too heavy-handed,
Heavy-handed. Yep.
and yeah, and I don't know if I think I was more okay with what they were trying to do than I was with the episode itself because I don't think it's a very good episode. Am I wrong in this? Do you guys agree?
I think it was one of those episodes where like they were trying to say something
Uh,
significant and like it's not fleshed out enough to make a statement one way or the other.
It was stunning and
yeah, I
brave.
mean,
It wasn't though. It was like the way that they played it, like I mean it was a simple story. Like everything was pretty clear cut, but like all of the people there was no great moment of it's just kind of it's hard to root for any of them. Like you've got the deputy who's kind of a dick. You've got the sheriff and the journalists that are kind of their hands are tied. There's
are you supposed
the
to feel bad for the sheriff? Like he seems like a guy who like is complicated. He's a guy that's like torn between his duty and the people. And I don't know if you're supposed to like him. I don't know if you're supposed to hate him. I don't like it, like even Jagger. I think it's Jagger the con man or whatever or
yeah.
the murderer.
He's
I don't know if you're
Convict.
supposed to the convict. I don't know if you're supposed to like him. I mean, it's just like
That
there's
is
a
one thing
lot
I
of
liked about it. I thought at
what's that?
first you were supposed to like him because it kind of sets him up as like innocent or at least
Yeah.
exacting self-defense, not murder. And I think like per the law, he was is what it's
Uh-huh.
trying to say. Is like per the law, like the written law, he was just enacting self-defense and standing up for someone. And apparently this other person who he did kill was a shitbag and trying to hurt somebody, and he was defending him and defending himself. And it sounds
Yeah.
like the deputy or whatever knows that, and when and so you think there's this big conspiracy, and that was the one thing. Another one, I didn't hate this episode, but that was one of the things that I liked the most about the episode is in the end, the thing with the
Uh,
preacher, how he was like, yeah, he is guilty. Because I think per the law, I don't think he was talking about he's guilty per the law. I think he was saying he's guilty per morally and like
yeah.
from a religious standpoint, because he came out and he's like, yeah, I fucking liked it and I'd do it again. Ah. So
See, and I wasn't sure on that front either because like he was kind of like um he would kind of given up. He was like, kind of left to his means. He's like, okay, well, I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna die. And now sometimes people are just like, yeah, you know what? I had a great time. And it's more sarcastic
yeah.
to some extent. I couldn't like he said these things and sometimes it could have just been to like, well, I've chosen this path, this is my path. I'm just gonna live it.
Well, I think that
Resigned to their fate. That's what the term is, resigned to their fate.
yeah, the episode is so surface level and in your face about everything else that I don't think it was really going deep on that. I think that he was what he was saying. I think what everybody says is like what it is.
That's fair.
I
That's
mean,
fair.
that's how I
well,
took it. I don't think
Yeah.
like because like everybody else was shown to be that way, like the way that they were presenting. Maybe we were led to believe a certain thing, but once it comes out as to who these people are or their actions, it's like that is what it is. There's no underlying theme or anything there. And I think that with him too. I don't think he was like the one standout there. I think that was the thing. The big gotcha was that. Oh, you think he's not innocent the whole time, and per the law, he probably is innocent or you think he's innocent the whole time, and per the law he probably is, but then we find out no, he's as full of hate as everyone else. So,
Oh, yeah. That makes more sense, actually.
Yeah, he
And
he he hated this person. He wanted to whether the guy was beating on somebody or doing anything or not, or attacking him or not, he still would have gladly killed him. So his heart is full of hate. So he's
yeah, and
guilty.
like the skies turn dark and stuff like that, which is very Twilight Zone E in a lot of respects. But it's like I guess I get the message. Like it's not subtle at all. It's like hitting you in the
No,
face. It's commentary on like the death of
JFK.
JFK
thank
and
you JFK, and how like it caused the darkness. And I mean you can say the same thing about 9/11. You can say the same thing about Hiroshima, North Vietnam, Korea, whatever. It's all the same thing. It's commentary on the darkness of man, the heart of darkness, that type of thing. And I just think it just becomes a little campy in a lot of respects to me personally. I think it's interesting, but it's also like, all right, I guess I'm going to church today, and I guess I'm going to learn about the hate of America, in school. And it's just like, I get it. You don't have to preach it to me. You're better than this, Rod Serling. And I think that's what my major issue is. It's just Rod Serling is better at preaching to the choir than what's shown on here. It feels once again like he is out of ideas and he's trying his best to come up with an idea that will, be thought provoking and ideologic or whatever how you say that word. And it just doesn't work in my honest opinion. I think, the sheriff feels like Jacob said, very surface level. I think even the Reverend feels very surface level. I think we have the racist Southern deputy or whatever surface level, tropey individual. The wife who is so like nobody's like fully fleshed out. Everybody's a one side. Everybody is of a trope. They're very mean, very hateful, or they're the Mr. Colby, the was he a preacher or whatever, or not preacher,
He was
whatever Colby
a
is.
journalist.
Yeah, it's just there's no like balancing of characters in the episodes. So
Yeah.
that's
Nobody
my
is subtle.
yeah.
no.
Like you're hitting my hand. It's like if they were do the I don't know, the invaders to go, hey, talking about how war and blah blah blah, and like the little people were astronauts, and then it's like beating you in the face with stuff, and the eye of the beholder. It's oh you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly. It's like you're not subtle at all, and it's a problem to me. So I
Well,
don't
they
know.
did they did say, according to the trivia, Serling wrote this script primarily as his personal reaction to the assassination of JFK. Indeed, the story was mentioned as a street in Dallas, Texas, that was enveloped in strange darkness. I do
Whoa.
wonder, like, I
Yeah.
do wonder. So you had a couple thoughts. The first one being the fact that you've got the cop, the newspaper guy, and the Reverend were the only kind of the guys that tried to see the good or, offer an alternative explanation to both Jagger and kind of everybody else around him. So do you think that's kind of the institutions trying to fight back against kind of that level of hate and like, kind of stave off like personal reactions?
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, that's probably true. And then it's about people just kind of becoming part of the system and kind of giving up because, it's too difficult or, what's the point when, I have to keep my status quo and, the guy has to die because everyone thinks he has to die. It's like
Well, I mean, if
watching,
he went through the judicial process,
yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
I mean, this,
they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
yeah, well, this is gonna sound like really funny, and I don't mean it this way, but it's like I'm watching Jesus Christ Superstar, and there's a point where Pontius Pilate is being he basically doesn't want to kill Jesus, and instead he's kind of coerced because he doesn't want to insult his population of people. And it's like, that's what the sheriff is here. It's almost like the guy just doesn't have a choice and he doesn't want to fight the system and he wants to be reelected. So it's like that level of like callousness, not callousness, but like sheepishness. What's the word where you have like no
Well, your hands are
no
tied.
backbone?
Well, his hands were tied. I mean, by those systems. I mean, he can't, perform
Cowardice.
a jailbreak.
Well, I'm not saying he can't, but like, he has like this level of consciousness or conscious, but he's like, I don't know, there's not much I can do about it. Like there's no level of fight in any of these characters at all. Even like Jaeger, just like
They've
I
given
don't care.
up.
Yeah, they've
And
resigned to their
Their
fate. They've
fate,
resigned to the darkness. The world's full of hate. Fuck it, I might as well be too.
Yeah. That
Instead of
was
fighting
one
back.
thing that I found interesting, the fact that the town was covered in hate or covered in darkness. Like when that first came up, because it came in that morning, I was like, oh, well, clearly, they're saying this guy is innocent, but then you get to the guy, to Jagger, and it's just like he's just there's nothing there for him to fight. Like it's not that there wasn't injustice to him, but it just didn't seem to make a difference. Like there was no great like Jesus level moment where this guy was like, falsely accused and everything.
It's like he didn't even care. It's like all these people are just miserable.
hey, it sounds similar to the state of the world. We're all fucking miserable. Well, we all just want to fucking buy bread. Damn it, we don't want to have to deal with the actual situations. Just hang the person,
And this is why I
kill him.
make bread.
Jacob, you seem like you'd be self-sufficient if there was a apocalypse. Would
That
you?
is the goal.
Yeah,
To a
I kind
degree.
of figured as much.
To a degree.
Is that why you keep like working on these like consoles? Because you want to have a console system like Haven when you're dead, when everybody else dies.
When everybody else is dead, I'll have plenty to do.
Time enough at last. 21st century
Exactly.
version.
But
Oh,
then the
that'd be
power goes out.
hilarious.
They have no electricity. Okay.
And all the time in the world.
Oh my god, you could just stare. You could do what I did when I had to wait for Xbox 360. Just stare at the two games I had just sitting there. I have all the time in the world. So, oh man. I don't know. We'll do the opening narration and get this out of the way. I'll let you do that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know how much you want to do it. I know how much you love to do it. Your darkness of your heart.
Yeah. Let's talk about this darkness. Sheriff Charlie Koch. Is it Koch or Coke? Coach? Coke? Koch?
I think
No, you're
Coach.
right. It's Koch.
Or
Koch?
Koch.
Koch?
Yeah.
Koch?
Like
Better
Koch,
than
you know,
better
New
than
York.
crotch.
Crotch?
Like Governor Koch, like in New York.
Sheriff Charlie Koch on the morning of an execution. As a matter of fact, it's 7:30 in the morning. Logic and natural laws dictate that at this hour there should be daylight. It is a simple rule of physical science that the sun should rise at a certain moment and supersede the darkness. But at this given moment, Sheriff Charlie Koch, a deputy named Pierce, and a condemned man named Jagger, and a small, inconsequential village will shortly find out that there are causes and effects that have no precedent, such is usually the case in the Twilight. It just kept on like, we got this guy, and this guy, and that guy, and I was like, Jesus, they usually just do three. He did like 5, 6 people. But anyway,
I know three is
rule of
three is a part. Three is an orgy, or three is fun. 6 is an orgy.
Is it 6?
Well,
It's 5, but
Oh, 5.
Do
Okay.
you count the three or you go when we get to 3 we pull the pin, the holy hand grenade. How's that speech go? Remember from Monty Python, the Holy Grail, the holy hand grenade.
the holy hand grenade of Antioch. One shall passeth 2 and move straight to 3, or one shall pass 1 and go to 2. One shall proceed to 3, having not followed on to 5. 6 is right out. Like it's that's wrong, but it's like they keep getting obviously 5 and 3 mixed up. 'Cause it happens all the time.
And Saint Attila raised the hand grenade up high and saying, "Oh Lord, bless this thy hand grenade, that with it thou mayest blow thine enemies to tiny bits in thy mercy." And the Lord did grin, and the people did feast upon the lambs and sloth and carved and chewies and orangutans. And breakfast here. Oh Jesus Christ. 5 is right out. Once the number is 3, being the third number, he be reached the lobbyist south.
I actually have a
Uh,
holy hand grenade that is also a whoopee cushion.
As it should be.
Yes.
as they do.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys I watched Brazil for the first time? Have I mentioned this
Nice.
already?
Which version?
The one that was on Plex, the director's cut.
Oh my, yeah, okay, yeah. That's the good one.
That is a
Where he's lobotomized.
that is a
in the
movie
end.
I wish I had seen many years ago because it's a
love
very Terry Gilliam movie. I will
Oh
give it
yeah.
that. It's a very Monty Python-esque type movie. So my favorite part is the little car he drives when he goes and visits the the wife of the husband that they, take away and murder.
That movie's
I love
awesome.
it.
It
I
is
used to
good.
have
Yeah.
the special edition, the DVD that had like all 5 different versions in it. And it
No,
had
really.
all these effect uh behind the scenes thing. It was like this big fat edition. It was awesome. It's worth a lot now. And I loaned it to somebody and he never gave it back. Motherfucker.
Nice. Oh, by the way, you ever have the Monty Python the Holy Grail DVD special edition,
Yeah.
like with all the great stuff on the back of it and whatnot?
Dude,
Good
I sent
lord.
that to you.
No, 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 no. The Holy Grail one. The Holy Grail one. There's the
Yeah,
Holy
that's the
Grail
one I
one.
sent you.
No,
Was
no,
Holy
you sent
Grail.
me Flying Circus.
No, I didn't. I sent you Holy
Yes, you
Grail.
did. I
Flying
know what you
Circus
said.
is
You
a
sent
That's a
damn
TV show.
you
series.
sent me the Flying Circus series.
I
I
did
know what you sent me.
not.
Yes, you did. I don't know where it's at. It's in one of the boxes, but I know you sent.
Dude, I
Trust me, I
sent
promise
you
you. You
I
sent me Flying
trust you
Circus.
Holy
Hadn't
Grail.
even gotten it out. It's in a box, he said.
Oh, of
Mm,
course.
mm. I have it
It's
at
no,
work.
because I never unpacked half the shit I moved with, so it's in one of my boxes somewhere. I don't know where, but
How do you know
I
that
know what
it's
it is. You
how do
sent
you
me
know that
Flying
it's
Circus
Flying Circus though?
because I remember when you sent it. It was sitting on my table for like a year or 6 months or whatever it was. So I know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Trev, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
If I
Mm-hmm.
find it, I'll show you. Anyways, so back to I Am the Night, Color Me Black. What else do we have to say about this episode? I mean, basically, the guy Jaeger is going to be hung, executed. The after being wrongfully convicted of killing a bigot. So is Jaeger like humanity who just kind of gave up and just like whatever, do whatever you want with me? If you want to rip off my clothes and sexually go at me or whatever. I mean, I don't know. It's
What?
he claims self-defense and is unrepentant in the killing.
I
I
don't
mean,
think it's that
basically,
deep. Really, I mean, maybe I'm just a dumbass, but I don't think it's that deep. It's not like a greater representation of people. It's just I don't know. Doesn't feel like it's anything more than that.
in essence, the town has been succumbed by darkness. It's cloudy. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. The sun has not come out. The sheriff thinks that's very weird. The sheriff's near type of situation, and I don't know. This is the problem with these types of episodes. Like they don't they want to say a lot, but they don't give us a lot to talk about, except for the simple fact of like the speeches that the sheriff or not the sheriff, but the news reporter has with the Jaeger, and Jaeger talks about how he wants to give him a show and he doesn't care and he has hate in his heart and I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Help me out here. I want to make this at least an hour long episode. Let's talk about the Helly hand grenade again. I mean, I don't know. You guys help me out here.
I mean, you've got
Mm,
folks like the deputy who everybody kind of doesn't like because he's annoying
short,
and
skinny too.
he's that very rude, just outrightly nasty person.
Are we
You know,
thinking is the sheriff the one that played by Michael Constantine, or is it the other one that's like the southern racist guy?
The deputy's the one who's like accused of seeing the whole thing go down and testifying.
yeah.
The sheriff is the one
So
who we sympathize with, and then we hear about how you didn't really report everything accurate either. You son of a bitch.
George Lindsey is the deputy. He also played
The younger
Goober
guy.
on Andy Griffith show.
I
Mm.
keep getting that mixed up with Gomer Pyle. Goober Pyle. Is that like his brother? Goober.
Surprise.
What were we talking about? We talking about Goober Pyle.
Gomer
Triv,
Pyle.
there was something else you were bringing up, weren't you? Triv is falling asleep. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just trying to read through what I've got here. I don't think there was anything specifically. I was trying to go through reviews to see if there's anything deeper to what this is talking about.
I don't
Actually,
think so.
well, I was reading about some of the trivia on this. There was a play called Many Many Monkeys that was written that people's eyelids are closed shut with hatred or whatever manifestation of hate that is blinding them. That seems like a much more interesting concept for a Twilight Zone episode than this. I think this is you see this on TV show of the week type of thing where it talks about hate, but does this really feel like a Twilight Zone episode outside of the darkness that envelops this town?
I don't think there's enough that happens. I mean, obviously the darkness is kind of your that that thing,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I
It's a
just
hard
feel like
one.
there's
They're behind everything. There's a solid message. You know, it's like hate turns everything dark, but the the way that it kind of I don't know. It's missing something essential, I
Yeah,
think.
it's a good message, but it's just executed kind of ham-fisted and heavy-handed, not ham-fisted, but heavy-handed. So heavy-handed that that gets in the way of it, in my
I like
opinion.
this picture. Yeah, that's the problem. Let me paste this picture.
Like
It's
I'm
a pretty
looking
cool
at some of the
poster.
reviews. I'm looking at the reviews and it's kind of talking about how like, you've got darkness happening over, different places like Dallas and North Vietnam and different places like that. And I can see this being like a first draft. So, JFK gets killed and Rod Serling is sitting there, sees that, and he bangs out this script. But it doesn't feel like they took it and like revised it to be more
Hmm. This
nuanced.
was first
It's
draft.
kind of yeah, it's first draft. It's very like getting your emotions out, the way that anyone in that state writes. But there's
Well,
nothing underneath it. I don't know.
I gotta ask this question then, and this is gonna sound like maybe it sounds like I'm being racist, but do you think if it had been like I don't know, a Hispanic man or a black man or something like that, do you think it would have been much more punchy, much or would it be much more in your face? Would it have been too much? I mean, it's like I feel like Rod Serling saw. I just don't know how you can relate what happens to JFK to this story because like nobody was hating the fact of JFK being killed. There was one
Well,
No,
there were a
man
lot
who
JFK
of
killed
was
him.
there was a lot
what's
of
that?
people that were very that wanted JFK to die though too. I mean,
He
Well,
was
there
but
killed
was
that
because of
happens. I
hate.
mean, you can say the same thing about Joe Biden. You can say the same thing about Donald Trump. You can say the same thing about you or I. I'm sure. I mean, I'm not saying there's people that want us killed. I'm just saying, like in general, like
It definitely is.
if we were like famous figures or we were, we went and killed somebody, it just feels like that. The story, what it's trying to do is put this into perspective of like, oh, all these people in this town represent the hate for what JFK did for like the Cuban Missile Crisis and or how he was like he had democratic views and how he was like not really popular with like the race when it came to racism and like that. It feels like it's kind of like a surface level telling of like how people react when they don't like a situation, and I don't think it fully envelops that story arc very well. I mean, you can hate this guy, but it's like I feel like these individuals are against. It almost feels like, oh, we're throwing all these people in the mix and they're all bigots and all racist. Like there's nobody in the other side of the crowd that just doesn't believe that this guy should be. I don't know. It's really weird.
I mean, you look at the
I don't.
crowd of people, and it's like you've got those really loud, obnoxious, just assholes in front, and everyone else behind them. Like, there's a couple of folks of different color behind them, and you don't get the response from them. Now, whether maybe they weren't told to do anything, but there's no response. I
Well, I
think I
mean,
figured out. I think I figured out what my issue with
yeah,
this is. They talk. So in one of these reviews, they talk about how the guy dies and then the darkness spreads, and it kind of
yeah.
relates. Like not to say the way that it says Jagger. It was in self defense. A lot of the information wasn't brought to light, and he just kind of is done with it. Not to say that that's not a significant thing for this man to lose his life, but it's not like if it was JFK or if it was Jesus or if it was someone really, high in government or, a linchpin of some great organization. It's a normal guy getting killed because he stood up at a time when it was needed. And not downplaying that sacrifice, but it feels like that's kind of they're equating a ton to this as being a linchpin of, well, this happens and the darkness spreads. But there's nothing that would cause the darkness to spread any more than anybody else happening. Why this town? Why this moment? Kind of a deal, you know?
Hmm.
I mean,
Does that make
what
sense?
you well, what you say about uh the town and like some people are vocal. I mean, you can say that about Twitter right now and how
Oh yeah,
or when you
100%.
when you post a comment when somebody posts a comment in a video or something like that, like the minority is always the loudest than the majority. Like the
Oh
majority
yeah,
just sits back and lets it happen, and
silent
you
minority
know, well, yeah,
or silent
you know
majority,
what?
silent majority, not
Yeah,
minority. What the hell?
yeah, they let it
Sorry,
happen.
duh,
So,
idiot.
damn it, Triv!
Apologies.
Damn it, Triv! I'm gonna throw my nail clippers at you.
Ew.
Actually, Ivan Dixon, he directed a lot of TV shows. He directed a lot of Magnum PI and Quantum Leap, and actually in Heat of the Night, he directed an episode of Heat of the Night. So
I actually liked how it was, especially during that time. I, I, I expected a lot more people, like in the reviews and stuff, to be talking about race and equating the hate towards that. And I mean, it came up somewhat, but it like the saying that the person that he killed was bigoted and all that. But it didn't focus on it.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like this is just like hate overall, and it makes sense that it derived from his experience with the JFK assassination. Because I think maybe the way it hit him was just like, how could something? I mean, at the end of the day, JFK was a man. He was just any other man, and people are murdered every day. But he was the president, and it was a very public thing. It was a big deal. So I think he was just kind of taken back and like saying, what kind of hate gets somebody to go up, get a rifle perched somewhere, and blow somebody's brains out. And it's not hate about black or white, male or female, other ethnicities versus other ethnicities. None of that. It's just hate in general. I did like how they kind of like
That
stuck
is
with
true.
that.
Yeah.
I feel like if this was made today, it would be different. We'll go with that.
It wouldn't have the nuance.
Yeah. And I mean, that's odd. I'm sitting here saying, oh, I like that nuance, as you said. And like the other nuance I really did like about it was when it came to uh, past or came to surface that the guy I did like that juxtaposition, like where he was like, "Oh yeah, he's innocent by the law, but morally, no, he's a shitbag like everybody else. He's hateful." That's what I feel like the reverend or the preacher, whatever he was, I don't know, priest, I don't know what he was, but
He was a
religious
reverend,
figure.
so
Um, when he said, no, you are guilty. It's like he meant like you're guilty morally, you're guilty by my belief system, and I like those two little nuances right there. I really like, but the rest of it was just so in your face, heavy handed, and no nuance whatsoever.
yeah.
It was like, man, it's like I really agree with what you said a minute ago, and I know we said this before. This was like somebody he had like a great idea. I was like, oh, I got this great idea. Hammer it out real quick, and then instead of like going back to the drawing board and saying, okay, let's flesh this thing out a bit more, they're just like, no, that works. 10 more episodes. Let's just go with that.
Yeah. Or it
I,
could
I
have been too, because like not that it's quite the same thing, but Carol for Another Christmas at the time was considered like very preachy and kind of schlocky, and it kind of I get not to the level, but I get the same sort of feel because it is very much that when you write from emotion, you also have to balance it with something else, and this doesn't really tend to have that balance.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of get that, especially the closer we get to the end here. I've getting that feeling a lot. I can't say if that's what actually happened, but I am getting that feeling that they like have these stories that, if this was season 2 or 3 or even 4, like they would have, okay, here's my idea, and they would have gone back to the drawing board and like just really fleshed it all out and cut this, added that, and second, third, fourth draft before they got to their final draft. And I feel like this season, there's been quite a few times that's come up to where it's like this feels like the initial story. This feels like the diner napkin pitch,
Right.
but they didn't, you know, do the steps they would usually do after that. They just went with the idea, and probably because they were like, "Fuck it, we're on the way out," because they knew that the show was ending,
Yeah.
like it wasn't coming back.
you can see in this episode, it also deals with like mob mentality, how one person starts and the other person starts, and like the idea of singular hate.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, you can put this into any decade, any era. Like you can see it in the '60s with the everything that was going on in the South. You can see it today with everything that's happening in America today. It's like we all get this like mob mentality. It happens. Like how many
Yeah.
times have you gotten in an argument with someone and a bunch of people get in that same argument, and it's like it is what it is. It's just I think there's a level of subtlety that the episode needs that it doesn't have, and in the end, it just doesn't really work. I don't think it works. I don't think, I think characters don't tend to have any interest or intrigue. They just want to hang a guy and they want to be, typical town that just doesn't put thought into what they're doing. And I don't know. Oh, by the way, Gomer and Goober were cousins. So I just found
Oh,
that out.
cool.
So, I mean, not in
So-
real life, just in the show. They're
Right.
both on Andy Griffith. So, oh my God.
So I had to laugh, and it's not funny per se, but in the moment it struck me just
Trev,
because
you're
of
a
some of our
terrible person.
conversation. Oh, I know. I'm fully aware of that.
Darkness or your town. I don't know.
But at the very beginning, when the sheriff is getting ready and the wife is kind of saying, kind of giving him crap, she says something about, or he says something about, oh, make sure that you bring over the breakfast at whatever time, and she's like, how do you think he wants his eggs? And he goes, oh, make
Edible.
sure that they're edible. And all I could think was 3 eggs, cause fuck you.
Terrible, Trev. Terrible, but I agree.
Sloppy,
I thought the same thing.
Sloppy, slimy ass eggs.
You're like, how would you like the eggs? I don't know. Edible with salt, pepper, and ketchup. I don't know. I mean, basically, the Reverend comes in, gives a speech about hate and whatever he gives, and he tries to be that conscious, trying to change the people, and they're like, no, hang him, and you hear the guy being hung and stuff like that. They should have added like the Wilhelm scream. It would have been great, but
No.
not really. No, I'm kidding. But no, I mean you don't see the guy get hanged, but you hear it, and then I do like how he looks up at the noose as he's getting ready to walk up, and
That was a cool shot, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Through
yeah.
the hole.
I love the fake like clock tower in the background. That's
Right.
Yeah, that miniature.
yeah.
Is clearly clearly a miniature. Yeah.
Exactly.
Good stuff.
And then the town starts to darken, more darkened than it has become. It means hate has fully taken over. And then they hear on the radio that other places are, now dark and now full of hate. And I don't know. I feel like it gets very heavy-handed when it talks about like was it North Korea, North Vietnam, or whatever. And it's like, I guess I understand where you're coming from in Dallas, Texas, and it feels more like these are the places that have the most like disturbing whatever. I don't know how you say
At the
it, but
time, it was. I mean, you had probably the Democratic National Convention in Chicago because that's one that's mentioned. You've got North Vietnam. You've got Dallas, Texas.
I'm sure
Um,
9/11 and like would have been part of that radio call if it had been done like today or whatever. But
yeah, Birmingham, Alabama was in there. The German capital, or sorry,
Berlin.
Berlin Wall.
what was the
Uh,
Berlin Wall is just because of like what it entailed or whatever. But
Yeah,
well,
it's
at
just
that
hard.
point in time, it was pretty like not that it wasn't hardcore in the 80s, but it was really hardcore in the 60s.
yeah, just watch Bridge of Spies.
Yeah. That was one thing that was really interesting. Like the deputy, like despite the darkness coming down, he's like, "Oh, it's just fog. It'll lift. It'll lift." Like he's trying to excuse what is clearly like a pretty serious thing.
Yeah, he just needed a fast gunman in his town
Yeah,
who's a drunk and a bunch of farting cowboys.
Mm.
we're so lucky.
Right. I don't know. I mean, that's basically how it ends. It ends with the three men listening on the radio about how darkness has taken over the world and how the end is nigh and plagues and violence. Oh my, what else? Anything else to talk about? I'm trying to think.
That's really kind of it. I mean, the only other piece of trivia is the middle the mid like the opening narration happens in the middle instead of the open. So
Mm.
Isn't
I
that
feel
how
like,
it usually is?
no, but
it's like
it was
way on in there.
yeah.
I feel like
Oh,
there should be more to talk about in this episode, but there's just that's the
well,
thing.
but
It's like it had grand ambition and it wanted to tackle
Mm.
this like super deep, nuanced, like psychological idea, and it just didn't go about it in a very good way. It wasn't awful, but it was just kind of like it was very basic.
Yeah.
It was very first draft. I mean, really, I keep going back to that, but it just
But
seemed
it's
like the
true.
first draft.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like there was no, it's all surface level. There was no, I keep saying nuance, just Triff said it first. But there was very little nuance to it. And there was very little anything. It was just all surface level.
Trying to figure
Yeah.
out there's a piece of trivia in here that says it takes place on May 25th, 1964. Like, what is important about May 25th, 1964?
Oh, the IMDb trivia does that a lot. Like they'll tell you what date it happened. It
It's
might have.
the landmark ruling declaring the closing schools to avoid desegregation as unconstitutional. The decision was a critical movement in the civil rights movement, reinforcing the principle of racial equalities and integration of American education system. So
What
that's
what was it, 64 or 65?
64.
Okay, yeah, because
The
JFK was shot in November of 63. So,
Yeah, no, it basically, I guess it takes place on the same day as ruling against school segregation, the first ascent of King Jinghua,
Does it ever
historic British
say that?
mountaineering.
Like what the date is, or are they just pulling that out of their ass?
I think it was probably someone probably saw it on a newspaper, or it might have been referenced in some
Yeah,
other form of trivia. Serling could have said, "Oh, this takes place whatever
I
day."
just I was just checking to see if it like had any significance, and it does with like the school ruling and for school segregation and Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis was constructed.
Nice.
Love Me Do, the Beatles song was top of the U.S. charts. Uh, Night of the Iguana, directed by John Huston.
Ooh, excellent
Number
movie.
one song, Don't Throw Your Love Away by the Searchers. Year of the Dragon, Waxing Gibbous. That's Zodiac or Moon Phase, Waxing Gibbous.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it leads off with that. It leads with them in total darkness. Their hate has been fully consumed.
Like if they
Yeah.
leave that area, will it be light?
Yeah, that's the way it's kind of implied.
Well, not the way it's going, apparently. The way they're going by the end of that radio station, everything's gonna be in darkness. Darkness of your heart, your brain, and the
Well, let's hope for that.
aristocrats.
So the whole world is just going. This is getting more and more depressing.
I think that's the point. I think it's supposed to make you depressed. They hung a man, Jacob.
They
They
did.
hung him. They hung him by his
Neck until he died.
Yeah, they did that.
Yep. That was really kind of understated, and I'm sure that it wasn't really the point of the thing, but you expect to see like a rope go taut, or to
Yeah.
hear more of the dropping or whatever. There really wasn't a lot to indicate that he had been hung.
I don't know if that would have made the story any
No,
more
I don't think
interesting.
so
I
either.
think I think
I
it was
was
meant to
just
be like implied more than
Oh no, I
anything.
just was surprised you didn't get something. Like even just like I say, like something to kind of indicate a little bit more forcefully that he had passed.
No, all we got was a boom,
Yeah.
and everybody went.
Gosh, Triv, why do you want to be so violent?
I
Gosh.
like horror movies
Why do you have so much hate in your heart? Gosh, Triv.
because I'm a bad person.
Gosh. Yeah, I guess that's really all we have to say is I Am the Night, Color Me Black, season 5, episode 26. I wish we had more to say, but it's an episode of the Twilight Zone. It's one that's
Yeah,
gonna be here, gone. We're gonna forget about it, and then when we go back and Jacob's like, "Why is that so high on the list?" We're gonna be like, "I don't know."
Well, which one was that?
Um,
Well, before we talk the list, we should have the closing narration.
Well, no, I was making a joke, but
Oh, got it.
I mean, no, I mean, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to say on the episode? Why is this
Nothing
not responding?
on this, honestly.
My notepad is gone not responding for some reason. I have no
That's
idea
a
why.
hell of an issue to have.
I hate when it does that. Do you ever have that when you like open up a thing and it just is not responding? You just have to sit there and wait for it to like do its thing.
You mentioned hate. Is your room getting darker? You get like the hate like flowing overhead and it's getting darker where you are because you're dealing with hate.
It's getting dark. You can no longer see the reflection off my bald head. All right, Jacob. Closing narration, I guess.
Okay. A sickness known as hate. Not a virus, not a microbe, not a germ, but a sickness nonetheless. Highly contagious, deadly in its effects, Don't look for it in the Twilight Zone. Look for it in a mirror. Look for it before the light goes out altogether. Damn, I didn't realize how heavy. Don't look for it in the Twilight Zone. Look for it in the fucking mirror, you bigot.
Should be like the what's his face? Wow.
Wow.
Oh, Owen
Wow.
Wilson.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
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 In the house.
Yeah.
Oh, so kind of a fun side thing. I just did a podcast with a bunch of horror creators, where we were talking Twilight Zone, and someone brought up a piano in the house as one of their favorite episodes, and I couldn't help it. I was like, a piano in the house.
Did they look at you weird?
Not really. They started going the house.
Oh God.
It's
See, Triv does a podcast about the Twilight Zone. She doesn't even invite us.
Dude,
See how this
you.
works?
I
I
invited
don't
you,
remember
but you
you
were going
inviting
to see the Wolfman.
I don't know what you're talking about. You never invited me.
Yeah.
Jacob,
right.
she didn't invite us to anything. She does these secret podcasts we don't know about.
Oh yeah, totally
We get
secret.
invited
That's why
to.
it's posted all over my social media.
I wasn't.
I don't know. I'm not. Yeah.
It was happening while you would have been at work.
I could have.
It was at 6 o'clock.
In on my phone.
While you're trying to negotiate with some asshole over a bunch of playing cards or a bunch of sports cards.
Oh,
You could have done your face there with like the two eyes and the
I got a
mouth.
GoPro.
Ooh.
Are you actually going to use that GoPro like I suggested?
Like, I put it on my glasses like that.
There you go.
He's doing his
Good
own
idea.
podcast where he's recording our podcast, doing his own podcast.
Yeah.
Podcast Inception.
Okay, Triv, where is this on IMDb and Paste?
Any ideas?
Number one.
This one, You know, I'm torn on this one because I feel like a lot of people, especially nowadays, would like be drawn to it and like find a lot of other insights in it that maybe weren't
Clear?
originally there.
Possibly.
So I think that those people would probably mark it higher. I'm gonna say for paste, no, for what is it?
IMDb.
IMDb, I'm gonna say like between 40 and 50.
Okay.
And paste, it's gonna be maybe it's broad, but between 80 and 100.
All right. Nick?
70 and 95.
So 70 for paste or 70 for IMDb.
Flip that.
70 for paste or 70 for IMDb, 90 for paste. Okay.
Yeah.
You're not far off with paste. It's 119. For that, hate begets hate is a simple message in the episode about a town full of people who conspire to give a death penalty to a murderer and are rewarded for their duplicity with a night that never ends. Serling's script tries to put a literal spin on the idea of a life lived in darkness resulting in more darkness, but his preachy on-the-nose dialogue and melodramatic acting produce an overbearing experience. IMDb had it at 86. And it was a 7.4, and other ones on that kind of 7.4 were in his image, surprisingly. Perchance to Dream, The Grave, The Man in the Bottle, Hocus Pocus and Frisbee, A Type of Stopwatch, and Dead Man's Shoes.
I like
So.
Dead Man's Shoes.
I didn't mind it.
I mean, I didn't love it, but it gets
He was
like
low because Triv wasn't on that episode.
No, I thought
You'd
it
be
was
like
goofy.
second banana.
It was entertaining.
I don't like that episode at all.
I don't love it, but I mean, I enjoyed it for the time that I watched it.
Yeah. So, yeah, between 86 and 119. I mean, so kind of lower middle.
Yeah.
Sort of.
All right, so let's do it. Let's talk about where this should go. Pace Magazine. No, I mean, Twilight Zone ranking list, the greatest ranking list ever known by Pace Magazine. I don't know. Where do you guys want to put this episode? I know it's not going to be high, but
where did you send the list?
Twitter.
Twitter? Oh, sorry. Hang on here.
Are we okay? So, fuck. put. I don't even know where to start on this.
I'd say underneath the lonely. Number
Where's that?
94, 93 as a starting place. Maybe?
I can't believe the lonely's that
This
high.
is like, I don't know, this is a problem with this episode. It's like it's not really like anything else in this series. I mean, Big Tall Wish. I guess you could put it close to that. I don't know. What's the episode? The one where he gets hung?
Dust?
That
No.
was the grave.
No, not the. No, that's where he gets stabbed.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's the one
Oh,
where
no,
he
he
gets
doesn't get
hung?
stabbed. He stabs his coat and he gets up and trips and falls.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Was it
No,
The
there's
one
Dust?
where
one.
Dust is the one where he
No.
gets hung.
Oh no,
Or they
there's
try to
another
hang
one.
him. They're gonna hang the
Execution or
Mexican
whatever.
guy.
Where's Execution? 80.
Hmm.
I like the lonely
It's
more.
better. There's no Lonely at number 93. You like the Lonely better than this one?
I do,
Yeah, I do
but I
too.
don't think the lonely should be as high as it is. But whatever, like as low as it is, rather.
Self Improvement of Salvador Raw. Short drink from a certain fountain. This is better than Changing of the Guard.
Remind me what Changing of the Guard is?
It's about
The
the
one.
teacher who,
Oh, yeah, right. The teacher that, yeah, okay. Kind of a thank you,
yeah, the
or
second
yeah,
half.
Mr.
Donald
Chips.
Pleasance.
Yeah.
Um,
The thing is with this one, so this is my first viewing of that particular episode, of this particular episode, and it just, there's so many, I feel like it deserves to go lower, but because of like the general subject matter and the fact that it's kind of like it's not inoffensive isn't the right word, but it doesn't really do anything with its big
mhm.
ambitions. I don't think it deserves to be super low based on that. Like it's just kind of a
It had a good heart. It had a good
yeah.
message. Just didn't do it very well. I
Yeah, I
To be
like it when
honest,
the sky was open better than this episode because I like the fact that it's an interesting premise,
that's
but
the
not.
thing, yeah. Like I almost feel like this should go down by Jespel, honestly, like 125, just because of what kind of sub like the fact that it has this thing and it doesn't know what to do with it.
yeah.
Well, I mean, there's the self-driving car episode. Last Night of the Jockey.
And just because a lot of the
You.
ones above this, they may not be perfect episodes, but they do more with what they've got, you know?
I mean, is this better than Queen of the Nile? Last Rites of Jeff Myrtlebank.
I didn't have a
One.
problem. Like again, I don't mean to put this lower based on what it's talking about, but it's just the rest of those episodes, something is done with it. Like regardless of what you think about it, there's stuff that's done with it. Like Queen
There's
of the Nile,
entertainment
maybe.
value.
Yeah, Jake, you're starting to glitch a bit.
Am I? Oh no. No,
Oh
don't do it.
no.
God, I
So
don't
is this
know.
better than Dead Man's Shoes?
No, I don't really think it is. But again, it's not
Uh,
that I
Dead Man
feel
Shoes is
bad. I
really
feel
funny.
bad saying this, but honestly, like this.
Sure, if an episode can suck and you don't have to feel bad.
Well, I think like it's
I
trying.
mean, is this better
It has.
than is this better than like Passerby?
No. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Is it better than Queen of the Nile?
See, I like that one too.
So you want to put it below
Mm,
Queen of the Nile, above Passerby?
well, my biggest like I have a problem with this one because there is no like I think it had something to say and I appreciate that, but it just like it didn't that what it didn't have like the thing, the Twilight Zone thing, you know?
Well, the
The
darkness
closest
is hit off the bat. Like there's no
yeah,
twist to the darkness.
there's no nothing, there's no twist, there's no nothing to really learn. The only thing that I guess would be slightly that is the fact that we assume this guy is innocent the whole time and we find out no, he actually, he's a bad even though maybe he's not lawfully guilty for this crime, he is still a bad person.
You know what would have made this
I like
episode
that.
better?
What's that?
If the darkness fought the nothing. Yeah, we had like a flying unicorn horse thing and a young kid
Yeah.
reading a book.
Maybe the
A bunch of
emptiness too. What they called it in part two?
probably.
The emptiness.
We had
The
those
empty sandwich.
boob statues, the boob lady
Oh yeah,
statues.
the Griffin statues.
Yeah,
Boobs.
yeah, yeah.
Just put them out there.
I don't know. I mean, do you think like something like this would be better than like Big Tall Wish, or do you think a Big Tall Wish is better? Do you think Piano of the House is better? Do you think?
Big Tall Wish is better in my book. Like that's why I say I
I
would
think
put it
Mr.
down by Jezebel, but that's probably too far
I mean,
down.
I put it like I think Mr. Dent on Doomsday is better, but
Where's that one? 2121.
one, yeah, something like that.
That feels high. Low. You know what I mean.
Cause I got high.
Wait, you think Mr. Dent on Doomsday is too low?
No, this one to be like 120. Oh,
So
you
you'd
think
want
it's
it to
too
be
low?
closer to
I'm
like
stuck like Trev, where
110.
I'm like, I think it had a good heart. It just didn't do a very good job of it. It's like it would be like, I don't know, what's a really good movie? Like just a really heartfelt The Father, that really impactful
Schindler's
movie
List?
about Alzheimer's. Yeah, Schindler's List, something like that. It'd be like an Uwe Boll directed Schindler's List. It's like, I really like the message, but it's just made terribly.
I don't know.
It's
Would
not
you
that
put
bad,
this
but
like
I mean,
last night of a jockey, you drive, kind of stopwatch? Alex's
I
favorite
mean, yeah,
Emily, I think of Cliffordville.
yeah, that area right there, that seems about right to me. But I mean, if you guys want to go lower or higher or whatever, that's fine. Is a
I don't
democracy.
know.
It's
I
democracy.
was thinking about between Queen of the Nile and Passerby, but you guys help me.
I'm
If you go
honestly
pretty
okay
right,
with that personally. Like
yeah, I think it should go above passerby.
I'm
But
good
how
with that.
far above Passerby?
Huh?
But how
Like
far
above,
above
like
Passerby?
better than passerby.
But is it
You
better
had,
than one more pallbearer, like the guy where he cries to his tree?
yeah, because you know what, that one at least had something. We talked a lot on that one. This one, I feel like we just kind of said what it was, and that was it, because that's all there was. There was nothing
I,
deeper.
I feel like this is one of the ones that we've talked the least most or the least about.
Yeah, but I feel like there should be more to talk about, but it's just not. They just didn't do anything with it. But whatever. I'm cool with that around the passerby.
All
Good with
right.
me?
I mean, color me black. Sounds. Why is that? That's such a weird
Sounds like
title
an
for a movie
It
AC/DC
episode.
song.
You know what? It kind of feels like it should have been like one half of that or the other. Like, Color Me Black or the other half of it.
The
Like
Batman
I Am the
metal song, Bat
Darkness.
metal song.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
am the night. Color me black.
Like
Ah!
even the name is so freaking literal.
Yeah, yeah.
Batman.
You know?
I mean, it is. That's why, like,
Batman.
I guess I thought I remember this being like a. I don't know. I don't know what I thought about this episode, but apparently not as good as I thought I remember it being. But I don't know.
Well, and your
Whatever.
perceptions of a thing can change.
True. True. True.
You can be wrong.
Um.
Right.
All right. So with that said, new number 116 is "I Am the Night." Color me black. Number one is still "Eye of the Beholder." Number 146 is "The Trouble with Templeton."
Oh, wait, wait,
Next
wait, 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 wait,
episode.
wait, 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 wait. Number 121 is a piano in.
The house? I honestly don't even know how this whole thing started. But we got 10 episodes.
We discussed
left.
this last week.
Doing
It didn't start where you thought it did. Like you thought it started with I can't remember what
Piano
episode
in
we
the
were
house.
talking about.
Didn't it actually?
No.
It did start with
Oh
the
no,
piano
no, the
in the
penis
house.
stretcher thing we were talking about last week.
Yeah.
It didn't start where you thought it started, but
Where did it start then?
I don't remember.
At the
It just
beginning.
it wasn't that because I went back and listened to that episode. We never talked about penis stretchers, so
Okay.
At the
Yeah.
beginning is where it started. I remember the clip of like when we were talking about it and we were talking, what's that guy got right there? It's like a penis stretcher. It's like they're
Yeah.
outside, like in a rocky area in some desert kind of situation. It's two guys, and he's pulling a penis stretcher.
Oh,
off.
it would have been Rip Van Winkle or the Rip Van Winkle caper, I bet.
That's what I thought, but I don't know. I don't know.
How do you make a penis stretcher out of this title? I am the penis stretcher. Color me black. I mean, that sounds really wrong. Or I am the night. Color me penis stretcher. I mean,
That's what I would that's how I would play it.
Yeah.
I am
Or
the penis stretcher.
penis
Color me
stretcher.
penis stretchers.
No. I am the
I am the night.
penis.
Color
I
me.
am the penis. Color me stretcher.
And the penis stretcher.
I mean, at least next week's episode, which is season 5, episode 27, called "Penis Stretchers and Silences" or "Silent Sounds and Penis Stretchers."
Penises and stretchers.
Hundreds
Exactly.
of penis stretchers.
Penis stretchers of beavers.
Oh yeah. Penis stretchers. For beavers.
Oh God.
So, anyways, next week's episode is season 5, episode 27, "Sounds and Silences," directed by Richard Donner, written by Rod Serling. Production code. Oh, actually, wait, no. Stars John McGiver, Penny Singleton, Billy Benedict, Francis DeSales, Michael Fox. I don't know. I don't remember this episode at all, but it's directed by Richard Donner, so I'm sure it'll be maybe good. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways,
fly.
yeah, with sounds and silences and penis stretchers and a
The
piano in
sound
the house.
of silence. Hello,
Superman
darkness,
in the
my
house.
old friend.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Color me black again.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Penis stretchers on the end.
Dig through the ditches and
Hello,
burn
penis
through
stretcher,
the
my
ditches.
old friend.
Slam in the back of my penis stretcher. Yay! I broke Drake. Milkshake.
I need the penis stretcher rendition of Dracula ASAP. Can we contract Rob Zombie to do it? Yeah.
I bet you can do it in AI or something like that.
Oh, I'm sure
Penis
you could.
stretcher.
Penis stretcher.
Oh my God.
Dig through the beavers and
You
burn
can do
through the tacos. Slam in the back of my penis stretcher.
I mean, you could do the Beatles version. She loves her penis stretcher. She loves her penis stretcher. Yeah.
She loves
yeah,
her
yeah.
penis stretcher. She loves her penis stretcher. She loves
And
her
you stretch that penis.
stretcher.
Penis stretch that.
Oh my God. Anyways, before we go too far,
Oh, I think we've gone
Guys.
far past too far.
that's what she said. Anyways, with
Going
that
from
said,
stretch to blow.
you got from penis to stretch. Stretch penis strong.
Oh God.
Anyways, before we head out, Jacob, where's your content at? Whoever wants to go.
Well, Jake's background changed, so go.
Me? Oh, my background can change it.
You son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got some stuff on YouTube. You can go check it out. Jacob Anders Reviews and Retro Jake XY. More stuff coming at some point in the future. I'll spare you the details. Check it out.
Woo!
No,
Or get
no.
reacquainted.
Yeah,
That's what she said.
get reacquainted. People still watch my channel. I mean, I see my analytics. I still get some little chump change every month.
Cool. You can find my stuff here on YouTube, Trivial Theater. I'm gonna be doing Vegas in Space here coming up. And then back into a bunch of short form riffs. So check it out.
Oh, good for you. Where's my video at, Triv? The one we did like 8 months ago.
I've got a list of people I need to get through before I get to you.
Oh, good.
Call me your
for
penis
you.
stretcher. Call him your penis stretcher.
Where's the one that
Ooh.
we haven't done yet?
All right. With that said, you can find me at Movie Emporium. Content there, everything, Severance, everything else, places, people, things. That's where I hold my content. Yeah, you like it, you watch it. Thank you for 14,000 of you watching my flow review. I appreciate it.
Woohoo!
That sounded really wrong, but it flowed everywhere to everyone. So it was that time. It was that time of the month. Apparently,
Flow
People love the
rider.
flow.
You can
Flow,
literally,
yeah.
he can literally be the flow rider.
Exactly. People. It was that time of the month. People love the flow. So
No, they don't. I can
anti-flow.
attest to the fact that you do not want the flow. It's a
Yeah,
pain in the
heavy
people
ass.
love that anti-flow. So
No.
Anyways, so yeah, find my content there. So without further ado, we're gonna head back into the Twilight Zone. We're gonna be much brighter and less Color Me Black, I guess. I don't know. But for myself, Triv, and Jacob, we'll see you guys next time in the Twilight Zone. Peace out, motherfucker.
Adios. You're getting all glitchy.
Oh no.
It's like one of the like where you scan the person and like if you move it all, it
Yeah.
gets all
Jesus.
funky.
This is what I want to do every episode, like just
We hit the 80s Twilight Zone and it does this.
It's like Blade Runner or something.
Yeah.
We're gonna snapshot that.